Every night, as the clock strikes 3 a.m., an eerie spectacle unfolds in the graveyard just outside my home. It's a sight that fills me with unspeakable terror, a sight I cannot unsee until the day I draw my final breath. When I first moved into my apartment a week ago, I was captivated by its large window that offered a sweeping view of the cemetery. Little did I know the horror that awaited me. My encounter with my next-door neighbor sent shivers down my spine. In her peculiar, eccentric manner, she warned me never to gaze into the graveyard at 3 a.m. She shared the chilling legend of the shadow dancer, a mysterious entity that lurks there undisturbed. Intrigued, I probed for more information, desperate to understand what she meant. The woman lacked the finesse of a reliable narrator, but her words sent a chill down my spine. She confessed that the term shadow dancer was her own creation, as she struggled to find an adequate description for the supernatural being that haunts the cemetery, a ghostly figure that emerges to dance under the moon's pale glow. As she noticed the fear etched on my face, she diverted the conversation, mentioning a nearby community garden and the wonders of rent control, attempting to alleviate the intensity of the subject matter. However, her feeble distractions did little to assuage my growing apprehension. During my initial tour of the building, nobody uttered a word about the graveyard's spectral inhabitants. The charm of the place, with its gingerbread trim and white picket fence, had initially overshadowed any concerns. The building comprised 8 units, 4 on the top floor and 4 on the bottom, with a parking lot nestled between it and the cemetery. A wall separated the properties, and I had my own private set of back stairs leading to the parking lot. The proximity of the cemetery did not initially unsettle me. In fact, it seemed oddly peaceful compared to the noisy neighbors I had escaped before. As the darkness blanketed the world, the moon cast an eerie glow, illuminating the burial ground outside my window. Its mystical light spilled into my room, tempting me to uncover the mysteries hidden within. The prospect of shutting my blinds to shield myself from the unknown seemed unfathomable. I approached the window with a sense of trepidation, peering out into the night. The cemetery lay before me, serene and peaceful. Everything appeared undisturbed, as if nothing sinister could ever happen in such a place. The tall trees cast long, haunting shadows across the grounds, creating an eerie atmosphere. At that moment, I tried to convince myself that there was nothing to fear, that it was all just a prank or a figment of my imagination. But as I turned away to retreat to my bed, something caught my eye, an unsettling movement amidst the shadows. I couldn't resist the impulse to look back. There, in the moonlight, I saw a mysterious figure emerge, a silhouette devoid of distinct features. It took the shape of a slender woman, her hair flowing down in long strands, clad in a flowing black dress. The sight sent a chill through my bones. She began to dance, moving with an otherworldly grace that simultaneously fascinated and disturbed me. Her movements were both beautiful and unsettling, as if she were telling a dark story through her expressive dance. A part of me wanted to step back, to avoid being seen, but I was inexplicably drawn to her presence. Suddenly, she ceased her motion, her head tilting up towards me, even though her face remained concealed in darkness. It felt as if her gaze penetrated through the depths of my soul, leaving me paralyzed with fear. I stood there, a statue frozen in terror, desperately questioning what course of action to take. In a terrifying surge of speed, the figure darted through the graveyard, closing the distance between us. Panic overwhelmed me, and my mind raced with thoughts of escape. My vehicle sat just below my window, but the risk of exposing myself to danger loomed large. Should I flee through the front door, seeking refuge with a neighbor, or would it be too late? With a quick, agile movement, the shadowy presence scaled the wall, its featureless form evoking pure dread. It glanced up at me once more before darting beneath my window, heading towards the building, directly to the private back stairs that led to my sanctuary. The sound of its relentless footsteps echoed through the night as it ascended the steps, sending me into a frenzied state. I bolted from my room, rushing towards the front door, the creature's relentless banging on my back door reverberating through my being. As I descended the front stairs, a sinister figure lurking at the bottom stopped me dead in my tracks abruptly. The dim corridor light flickered out, plunging me into darkness. My scream tore through the air as the entity charged up the stairs, its heavy footsteps thundering through the hall. With my heart pounding in my chest, I stumbled back inside, slamming the door shut and frantically locking it. The thing outside pounded on the other side, its relentless assault threatening to break down the barrier that stood between us. The rattling of the doorknob sent shivers down my spine as I backed into the living room. I reached for my cell phone, hastily dialing the emergency number, my words tumbling out in a panic-stricken torrent. But fate seemed against me as the call abruptly dropped, and all attempts to regain a signal proved futile. Desperation consumed me as I screamed for help, my pleas seemingly swallowed by the void. And then, as if summoned by my cries, the pounding on the door ceased. I could hear my own breath, a stark reminder of the encroaching darkness that enveloped me. Outside, an ominous presence loomed, scratching against the wooden door. Time dragged on, each second feeling like an eternity in the clutches of the unknown. And then, finally, I heard the faint sound of the shadow dancer moving away from the front door. Its sharp nails scraped against the walls as it descended the front stairs, each step a deliberate, torturous progression. Caught in a state of indecision, I stood frozen, unsure of my next move. But a desperate resolve compelled me to retreat to the safety of my bedroom. I yearned to witness the entity's retreat to the cemetery, a glimmer of hope that it would leave me in peace. Cloaked in shadows, I remained hidden, my heart consumed by a fervent prayer that it would not set its sight upon me again. And there it was, sauntering back towards the wall, an embodiment of malevolence and darkness. It paused, perched upon the wall, fixating its gaze upon my window. Time itself seemed to hold its breath, as if the very fabric of reality awaited its next move. And then, in a haunting gesture, the figure waved at me, a sinister greeting from the abyss. With a chilling leap, it vanished into the cemetery, retracing its steps to the place where it had first appeared. There was no trace, no conceivable hiding spot for such an apparition. It vanished into thin air, leaving behind only questions that seared into my rattled mind. The wave, an inexplicable communication from a creature of the night, left me bewildered and disturbed. What did it signify? Was it a farewell or a twisted greeting? And what horrors would it have unleashed if it had breached the sanctity of my home? With the dawn of a new day, I mustered the courage to confront the outside world. As I approached my front door, my eyes were drawn to the unsettling sight before me. Scratched onto the surface of the door, in janky, menacing letters, were the words, "Welcome home." My mind spun in a whirlwind of confusion, mirroring the enigmatic wave, as I grappled with the sinister meaning behind this chilling message. I confided in my neighbor, pouring out the horrifying details of what had transpired. The weight of guilt hung heavy upon her, knowing she hadn't adequately warned me about the sinister presence lurking in the shadows. From that moment onward, I vowed to a life of eternal vigilance. The windows, once portals to the outside world, became forbidden gateways that I dared not gaze through after dark. The mere thought of encountering that elusive shadow dancer, its chilling presence lurking in the shadows, sent shivers down my spine, infiltrating my very nightmares. And yet, amidst the torment, a perverse curiosity gnawed at my soul. What manner of creature was it? From what twisted depths did it emerge? And most unsettling of all, what sinister desires fueled its existence? Take heed, all who reside in the vicinity of a cemetery, for within the sacred grounds, an unspeakable presence may dwell, watching, waiting. Please like the video if you enjoy watching it, but beware, for what you see may haunt you. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell for more scary stories. And don't forget to share your thoughts and opinions in the comments section.